Good morning. F-bombs are armed. They will probably be dropped. Okay, today is 4 August 2022, and what the hell was... Okay, I know what that... No, this is... There we go. That's better. As usual, there were technical difficulties this morning. All right, so share screen. Actually, I'm not going to share that screen yet. I'm going to share this other screen because oh no. All right, I'm going to share this one first. All right, I have spoken off and on about the future of weapons. Well, ladies and gentlemen, some of that future is here now, and I have found it. My God, that's loud. Hold up. It's coming. No, that's not the one. No, that and damn, this is not the one I thought it was. Anyway, in another video by this same outfit, they demonstrate actually burning wood. Oh crap, I don't think it went through. Okay. I tell you what, Boa, I'm not going to push CRT. How about that? It's in the banner. And the banner says, tell me to go fuck myself. Mandatory carry at gmail.com. Oh, no, it doesn't say .com. Ha! See, I know everything that's going on around my little bit of the universe. Oh, excuse me. That was a hard one. All right. So I'm going to start off with the easy one. My gun group gripes. How do I put this politely? Fuck them all. I've been seeing everybody talking, oh, they're all so wonderful and beautiful, except the NRA, fuck them. Well, no, fuck them all. Right now, Congress is pushing H.R. 1808. It got signed. It's going to go to the Senate, and we're going to talk about that more in a moment. We wouldn't be here at all. We would not be here at all. Had GOA, FPF, Second Amendment Foundation, or what's the other one? They used the bird. I'm sorry, guys. I know what this is. Okay. I got it. Thank you. Had any of them responded to the email, the snail mail, the voicemail, except for Second Amendment Foundation? I never actually called them. I couldn't find the number. We would not be here at all. HR 1808 would never have even been proposed as a bill. So thank you very much, guys. And now you know why I don't give you money anymore. This is not something that started 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago or even 2 years ago. I first reached out to GOA in 2017. I reached out to FPC, right, which is a subordinate part of FPF. And I acknowledge that there is that issue. Back in 2017, I think FPC month later, something like that. So don't try to, hey Squatch, don't try to tell me that they're all good and wonderful and beautiful. They are doing not jack shit for anyone other than themselves. Prove me wrong. I'd love to see it. But I can pretty much tell you the rest of that list, never going to get anything out of me again. I will tell you who did return the phone call was an attorney recommended by Ghost Tack, Eric Prince. He did return the phone call. He did return the email. Flag on play. He is an actual working attorney in the field. So he didn't personally return the email, the first email. His secretary did. Well, yeah, that's exactly how it works. It's not for whoever's goes, oh, well, I called Matt to get it. I know. You're not going to get the call back until a little bit down the road, right? And it's like, I think it was 2 weeks overall between first email and final phone call. All right. Hey, Bernie, I did see you walk in. He did return the call. As a matter of fact, not only did he return the call, but he proved to me he read the email because he told me a part I had forgotten about myself. Oh, so I did that? Yeah, it's there. He even offered to read it to me. I said, no, that's okay. I know which one you're talking about. It's a particularly interesting quote. Vil was here about an hour ago, a little over an hour ago now. I hope she's still here. Boa is here, and did I miss anybody? Okay, Squatch, I'm not sure what that's about. Now I'm pretty sure I'm happy to be ignorant. How about that? We're going to just leave it at that. Okay, guys? And I am actually caught up. Good. How dare I be caught up? Guys, you don't want to be called grifters? Don't be grifters. How about that? Speaking of grifters, fuck you, Rand Paul. Our people go off to fight a war because Congress says we're at war. Okay. Right, wrong, or indifferent. We are an all-volunteer force at this time. We have a draft system in place that has not been used since the end of Vietnam. Even then, the draftees was a small percentage. Okay. It's still there. And if you are going to threaten to throw people in prison for failure to go to war, if Congress so says, then you damn well better fucking fix them when they come home. If they come home. You, Rand, actually said out loud that fixing these people will destroy the economy, and therefore you're voting against fixing them. Fuck you. I know libertarians can't be trusted. I know they lie, cheat, steal. But I thought that you, of all people, would at least get past that part for the sake of our veterans that went to Iraq and Afghanistan. For those of you that are confused as to what this rant is about, Rand voted no on the burn pit bill, which is the Neo Agent Orange and Gulf War syndrome. A flag on the play, people. It's a war. Things happen that are not always good and beautiful. All right. Vietnam, we used Agent Orange. In the Gulf War, we gave people anthrax vaccinations in the improper system. It's a specific protocol. You have to get jabbed first time on one day, second time on a second day, and then third time on a third day. You have to do them in the correct time frame and order, or you will basically blow this person's DNA up. Small flag on the play. I have been told that if you get the first jab but not the second, you're fine. But if you get that second one, you've got to get the third one, or it will destroy you. It will destroy the rest of your life. To be perfectly blunt, I know I don't know enough about this to know what I don't know. But I know there's way too many people saying something went wrong after that to just ignore it. It's as simple as that. Now we've got the burn pits. And oh yeah, by the way, in case you didn't know, we did it in World War II. We did it in World War I. We did it in the Civil War. We even had issues as far back as before the revolution related to military health. And we leave these people to fend for themselves after. Well, you don't work for us anymore, so we can't help you. No. You broke me. You fix me. Excuse me, guys. Like I said, you broke me. You fix me. The society that treats its warriors and veterans as disposable commodities will be deservedly destroyed in time. Go to hell, Rand. And send yourself there. I gotta catch up on the chat for a second, guys. All right. Well, says, but grifting works so well for Jesse Jackson and Al show me the blackmail Sharpton. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? It is what it is. Let liars be liars. That's what they do. Ooh. About that. Bernie asked, what do you think of threats by China and now they're playing war games by Taiwan? Okay. File this under I know I don't know enough to know what I don't know, but I do know that I know enough to know what I do know. I think this is China deliberately testing the waters, as it were, to see if they can get away with something. How much they can get away with, it might be just the whole point. Most of y'all don't know this, but Japan now has a full-fledged aircraft carrier. Oh, excuse me. It's the first full-fledged aircraft carrier Japan has had since the end of World War II. She's the first aircraft. God fucking damn it, people got me doing it too now. She's the first full-fledged aircraft carrier since the end of World War II. She flies F-35s and not real aircraft, but moving right along. She did test and passed the test for flying F-35s. I think what Japan or China is trying to do is see how far they can go before they get an actual shooting response, and then they're going to stop at that line and say, okay, we're not going to test this any further because we know if we actually get into a war with the United States, we're going to lose. But right now, because we know Joe Biden has no backbone whatsoever, because he's in our master's pocket. We can get away with a lot, and they will let us. And Japan's not going to shoot at us first, not without the United States' backing. So yeah, as they can play this game, and if they can ride it out until the next administration, it becomes a precedent, and the Americans can't do anything about it. Boa, I concur about that surrender. Um, okay. The H2 and 3 are crap. If you're going to go that route, do the real. Right. I believe that surplus Army Humvees are going as little as 50,000. Uh, okay. No, Boa. U.S. is not trying to start World War III by letting Finland and Sweden into NATO. Finland and Sweden tried to enter NATO just after World War II. Russia blocked it and said, if you join NATO, we will invade you. Finland has an old history with Russia. Why is it every fucking neighbor Russia has an old history with them? Do they not know how to live next door to somebody without starting shit? Tell me, explain this to me. As it is, Russia still occupies about 200 square, or is it 2,000 square miles of Finland. They invaded during World War II, got up to some city, I can't remember the name, and because they were getting their asses handed to them left and right, agreed to say, well, let's make the new border here on the other side of this city. That is Finnish. That city is part of Finland. It's just behind occupied lines. Now Finland, because Russia invaded Ukraine and showed their true colors again, saying, you know what? We're done. We played nice with you for the last 80 years, 60 years. You just showed us what you really are. We're not playing nice anymore. So the only one trying to start World War III is Russia, if this is the way it starts. Okay. I'm not sure about what the FATS March is, but Boa, go back and re-examine what happened in 2014. Okay. I'm going to move on. And I'm not going to address this any further. Okay, whatever, Boa. I got to move on for the rest of it. Maybe I'll start a stream just about World War III. Not this afternoon. There is going to be an afternoon live stream. I also know what happened in 2005. I watched it. Okay, The Secret. I'm going to enjoy this, Apple. So, I think most of you remember, what was it, just over a year ago, I had a week without a live stream. What happened? Well, I was in fuck YouTube jail. We love you, Susan. Yeah. I was in fuck YouTube jail because I uploaded a video on heel lights. Well, remove that one. Share a different screen. Oops. No, damn it. One of these days I will learn how this works. Share screen. Soft edge tab. First of all, I have openly said that, well, you know what? I said that I would have gotten the vaccine after everybody else who needed it more than I do got it first. I know I didn't need it. I know it wasn't going to be important for me. It'd just be a box to check off in my life. Right? Well, I forgot the rest of that statement. I was passed over for a job that would have been life-changing, permanently life-changing for the better. I wouldn't be here now, but it would have been permanently for the better. I applied to Reno Police Department. I got turned down because I was not vaccinated, and they even told me to come back and reapply when you have.
To get your take on a lot of people looking at the president now having this, and all these people who have been fully vaccinated and boosted and all that, and they're getting it. The 20% or so of Americans who've not been vaccinated might look at that doctor and say, well, why bother? Why bother? What do you tell them?
Well, if you're across the South and you're in the middle of this wave, what's going to save you right now is Paxlovid. But once we get through this wave, during that law, you should get vaccinated and boosted because we do believe it will protect you, particularly if you're over 70. I knew these vaccines were not going to protect against infection, and I think we overplayed the vaccines, and it made people then worry that it's not going to protect against severe disease and hospitalization. It will, but let's be very clear. 50% of the people who died from the Omicron surge were older, vaccinated.
Okay. Well, that was a YouTube video. Matter of fact, I found it on Fox's own website, but I saw that they had a title, and I thought, you know what? I should check. How dare I present something that YouTube has said you can't hear about? We love you, Susan. And now here it's on YouTube. I'm just saying. All right. I was in fuck YouTube jail because I uploaded the heel light video. I believe it was only 1 week. I don't think I've ever gotten a 2 week. But, well.
In a study published in the U.S. National Institutes of Health's National Library of Medicine, UVC light deactivated MERS-CoV within 5 to 10 minutes of exposure. When it comes to the latest outbreak of COVID-19, UV light has been confirmed to be effective in eliminating the virus by Juan Leon, an environmental health scientist at Emory University, and Dr. Lena Sirik, an associate professor at University College of London. UVC treatment is already proven to work on previous strains of the coronavirus. Therefore, it makes sense for the light to be used against COVID-19. Best practices. Unlike liquid cleaning agents, no contact with the surface or device is required when sanitizing with UVC light. There is no downtime after sterilization. The area or equipment can be used immediately after disinfection. Check out our selection of UV sanitation lights at Larson Electronics today. At Larson Electronics, we do more than meet your lighting needs. Contact us today.
Now what, Apple? It's not just A2? I'm not sure how to pronounce that word. Biotech, which, by the way, is a subsidiary of Cedars-Sinai Hospital. Uh-oh. Oh no. Did I just say that? You called medical doctors liars and fraudsters and punished anybody who dared say the same thing. Now what? Just tell me. What are you going to try next? All right. Windows. Get the chat back up there so that you can see it in a year. Because God knows Apple's reaching for that shutdown button as we speak. We love you, Susan. You cunt. Okay. So that was not the first surprise. What was the other one? Okay. That was the last surprise. Damn, I forgot. Okay. Don't go with pop-up squatch. Go with a fixed top. They're cheaper. They're solider. They're more reliable. They're more comfortable. I know I advocated for pop-ups in the past. Well, that was based on mistaken understanding of the nature of the universe. My bad. I own it. I did that. I'm sorry. But yeah, Papa Carey set me straight on that. Oh, Jesus. 6 months ago? Something like that. All right. Also, you can load more gear into a fixed trailer, camper. So, I'm just saying. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just making sure that I covered all of that. By the way, if you're going to turn your phone on and leave your data off, you might want to make sure to clear the OK button. All right. Not a secret for most of you. I'm looking for the next ex-Mrs. Carey. And with a little bit of luck, this weekend I'm going to meet her. So, a couple of prayers, if you don't mind. I would appreciate it. All right. Bernie, some pop-up campers are poorly made. Most are poorly maintained. So that try not to read too much into some people's misfortunes. It's not an absolute. Okay. And by the way, Papa Carey has a trailer, a camper. When you see me with the white stripy thing in the background at Papa Carey's, yeah, I go out to the camper and I stay out there for the weekend because, well, Dad tolerates me. Kind of as simple as that. And I don't blame him. I really don't blame him. Right. I really am a horrible person. If you think calling myself a kike and nigger faggot is the worst I can get, no. No. Squatch has never seen me at my worst. Calling fixed bayonets a sand nigger is not me at my worst. Flag on the play, guys. My introduction to fixed bayonets was her calling herself one. For those of you that remember that story or saw that story, you know, it is what it is. What am I supposed to say? I'm supposed to say what she actually said. Which leads me into a little bit of a rant about honesty. And there's one person out there who I hope is watching this. It is both intellectually dishonest and a form of plagiarism to change somebody's quote just because you don't like the language that they used. All right. I've had papers when I was getting my history degree. I had papers that got F's because I changed one word. That one word, by the way, the one I'm really upset about. The translation from Chinese to English leaves a lot of room for variability. Right? She could have been saying one thing. She could have been saying something else. Right? It's impossible to really understand unless she stands there and turns around and says it in English. Well, she's been dead over 100 years. She's not going to tell us what she meant in English or any other language. Read one way, it's anti-Japanese. Just anti-Japanese. And Japan and China had been at war at the time frame in question. It is what it is. Translate it a different way, it's racist. I was giving her the benefit of the doubt that this was just war propaganda. And my paper was rejected because my instructor did not like the anti-Japanese translation. Now, it was an easy fix. I just go back and take that one word out and drop in a different word. But the word that actually went in there, the actual word, not jijing, it was Quelo. That's a racist word. In Chinese means all foreigners. Okay. I replaced Quelo with foreigner. That's it. That's all I did. My paper, I got an F. Now, that was not the only issue, but that was basically, that was half of my F right there. I had changed the quote. I had changed the word. If somebody else drops a hard R, you drop the hard R because you're not speaking for yourself. You're speaking for them. You're changing what they said. This is not your words. It was theirs. And you have a lot of goddamn nerve telling them what they said. Not that I actually care about the subject, but when traveling abroad, don't take drugs. That's all. This little bit is all I'm going to say about it. When traveling abroad, don't take drugs with you. Even if they're legal where you're going. If they're legal where you're going, get them when you get there. Otherwise, don't do it. TV series Cops. had an interesting little bit. This is Lake Tahoe, by the way. Lake Tahoe, LTPD. No, it was Las Vegas. You know what? I can't be sure off the top of my head now. But anyway, 3 guys in a car get pulled over. The cops stop them. They find less than an ounce of weed. All right. California had just passed medicinal marijuana. So this takes us back to 90 something, right? 90 something. 2 miles to the west, this less than an ounce of weed was legal. These guys were facing possibly 5 years in prison in Nevada because they'd crossed state lines where on one side of this magical line, it's legal, and on the other side of this magical line, it's 5 years in prison. Oh, okay then. All right. Just don't do it. Now, the laws have since been changed. Those guys would probably, at most, have gotten it yanked from the car and stomped on and thrown down a gutter or something. That's if you have a cop who's kind of mad or a douchebag. Today, they would have been fine. 20 years ago, they were looking at 5 years in Nevada State Prison. Not talking about crossing international borders. Talking about crossing a state border. Squatch, you definitely want to go with a full camper then. And by the way, consider installing solar panels. But just consider it. All right. Never ever take drugs across international lines. Please, for God's sakes, don't do that. Had a buddy, shipmate, of mine. We went up to Toronto. I believe it was Toronto, and tied up overnight. And he's walking down the street, beer in his hand, asking literally every person he meet, "Hey, is this okay? Hey, is this okay?" Now consider how polite Canadians are. That's not a meme. That's not a myth. That's a real fucking thing. As real as me dropping an F-bomb. There's a reason for it, and go with that. Canadians are ridiculously polite by the standards of literally anywhere else on earth. Cop grabs him by the shirt, pushes him against the bulkhead, up against the building, and says, "Come here, stupid." He didn't say it nicely. He said it like he was a little bit mad. Okay. If you can make a Canadian mad, you fucked up. It's as simple as that. It really is as simple as that. And this guy was mad. My shipmate got off very, very lucky. The cop watched him throw the beer away, throw the bottle away, and let us go. I believe that the cop did check his ID. That's it. No fines, no tickets, no summonses to appear. Throw the beer away. Go home now. And I'll pretend this didn't happen. think partly he was mad because either we were there long enough for him to catch up to us, or he saw us doing it, and he's standing here watching my shipmate do it long enough to realize this asshole's just ignoring me. I'm standing right fucking here, and you're ignoring me. No, fuck you too. Come here, stupid. Okay. All right, so kind of try to have a little bit of appreciation. You're not fucking in Kansas anymore, Toto. Wow. Okay. Well, we were in Toronto, and I think that's Ontario. And okay, it is what it is. All right. Supplemental provisions is pretty long, so that's why the first half today is a little bit on the short side. We love you, Susan. There was 2 reasons. All right, so we're going to invert the picture. That does not look right. That is right. And we're going to thin it up a little bit. And for the future generations, I'm sorry, it is what it is. I have control over what I have control over in my life. All right. Kind of is that simple. There we go. But it's a little bit less illegible now. That's cool. Get home bag. Comms. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, is your first entry. Yeah, your cell phone. As things fall apart. Yeah, let's try that again. There we go. As things fall apart, first thing to do is your text messaging. All right. If you can still get a signal, enough signal out to do voice, great. Otherwise, text messages, keep them short and sweet to the point. You don't want to spend an hour writing an essay. You want to spend 5 seconds telling your loved ones, I'm coming home, I'm doing this, I'm doing something else. Damn it. It's actually in my bag. For those of you that remember gloves, you remember this finger was exposed? Well, it's not because it's my trigger finger. It's because it's my cell phone finger. I know somebody in the chat is going to drop a recommendation for a cell phone friendly glove. Spare me. They're all crap. I've tried them. They don't work out. It's better to have your fingertip a little bit cold or a little bit something that you don't like than it is to not get a signal or to get a message out. Okay. That's your first one. Now, y'all are going to see something you don't see a whole lot of around here. I got to do something about that. Besides me digging through the bag. Oh, there it is. That's it. Oh. All right. I meant to have another video, YouTube video, up for you guys to see. Angry Cops actually gave a POB award to California National Guard, which is kind of startling, really. Last summer, a wildfire broke out and overran a campground in like hours. CAL FIRE ordered the National Guard to wave off, that it was unsafe to attempt a rescue. National Guard said, thank you very much, and began the rescue anyway. And they got 200 plus people and the dogs, which is very impressive, out. Multiple trips. They actually had to put people on the ground to coordinate the rescue effort. That took some balls. That took all the balls. For that, Angry gave them a POB award. One of the reasons that the National Guard was able to do what they did is everybody turned their headlights on. That gave the helicopters an idea where and how to approach. So it made it less unsafe. Shit, I was sick. Headlights, guys. Your headlights could be a signaling device. But with my coasty history, oops, let's get that right. I like anything that flashes. This particular product is kind of Batteries can't be replaced. It burns out a little too easily, but you can find them. And it flashes nice. Speaking of flash, battery in it. Yeah. These little flashing lights, they're available through West Marine. Mine is rigged up on the shoulder pouch, where I leave everything that I want to grab quickly for signaling purposes. Things like signaling mirror. Let's see if I can get it to kind of flash a little bit. Yeah, it's not going to flash so well because it's not outside. And get a little bit closer. Whistle. These are so you can be found. Deep in my bag, I got a bunch of Calium lights. These are just the cheap $1.99 store version. One of them is missing from the last time I did this. I don't know what the hell I did with it. I'm pretty sure that was all of my signaling equipment. This one's got the batteries in it already. I keep in the bag. See this little yellow thing? I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. As you can see, there's a pair of batteries in there. It's just two, in this case, AAA batteries. I put them in a heat shrink tube. Shrink the tube. Now, I know exactly where the batteries are. Now, this kind of gear is more appropriate for if you're going to go backpacking, hiking, camping, off the beaten trail. But you know what, Squatch, in case you ever decide you need to move that camper someplace, have signaling equipment. You can also put CB radios. Yeah, sure. There are full range CB radios that are only slightly bigger than my phone, smaller than a 90s era cell phone for those of you that have that kind of memory. Ham radio. Papa Carey has a ham license. So it's the third one where he can reach out to the entire world. one of these days, he's going to be on. He's just going to happen to hear from another ham radio operator, and the two of them are going to be like, oh, do you know mandatory carry? One of them's going to say it. Oh. Okay, Boas says, did you hear about the cell? Oh, let's try doing it correctly. There we go. Did you hear about the cell phone network outage a couple weeks back? Most carriers out, ATM debit out, chaos and people unable to even to call 911. Well, guys, that's the reason why we should never have gotten rid of the payphones. The cell phone temporary repeaters can be put up in a couple hours, but you've got to know where to have them. You got to get them there first. Anything that makes light or noise or gets a signal out. Helps, doesn't it? We love you, Susan. On the subject of comms, it's got to be something that not only will get your signal out, but has to be able to be received. A light stick will not be seen if there's nobody in position to see it. Your cell phone will not get a signal out if your network is down. Two-way radios only work if both parties are on the same channel, but if you have a CB radio or if you can get one, great. Good for you. Don't get rid of it. Most of this is more in the bug out bag territory, and I think most of you all by now know how I feel about bug out bags. But it doesn't hurt, right? First line during get home phase is going to be your cell phones, especially your text messaging system. Short, sweet, to the point. I'm coming home. I'm this, I'm that. Try to give an ETA. That way they'll know if something's wrong. True fucking story. This is one of the stranger stories. Although it's me, all right? So you know it's going to be a strange story to begin with. Mama and Papa carried me. Well, I was still in high school. My older brother was graduated. We were home. Mom and Dad disappeared. Oh, no. Excuse me. I was in college at this point. Mom and Dad disappeared for a couple hours. And then several hours. And then started to get dark. Dad had just gotten the cell phone. This was one of those old bag ones. We didn't know where the hell they were. They had been gone for at least 8 hours at this point. It occurred to me to call them and see if they were okay. That wasn't even a crisis situation. There's nothing resembling a crisis going on at the time, except that Bill Clinton was in office. We didn't know where they were. If for all I knew, they were lying at the bottom of a cliff, having driven off the side. Now what? Well, I called them up. They said they were fine, and Dad still makes fun of it to this day. Mom made fun of it until the last time she mentioned it was about a month before she passed away. Maybe it was a year. No. You know what? I can't be sure, but I do remember that it was while I was still married, because big girl, Carrie, made fun of me for that. Something to the effect of, so if you ever disappear for 8 hours, I can call 911, right? Well, yeah, I guess you can. Try calling us first, though. Again, anything that creates light or noise, if it does both, you might as well grab it for the both. If all you have is a flashlight or a cell phone light, try putting something over it that will make it appear bigger, like a newspaper. You wrap your flashlight with some newspaper, just hold it in place, turn it on. The light bounces off the fibers in the paper, making the paper appear to glow. That makes you a lot more visible, a lot further. Now that laser I pointed out earlier, first of all, it can be very hard to see if you don't know to look for it because it's such a small thing. Second of all, don't point those at aircraft. Pilots really, really don't like that. Okay. I'm not sure what 24-hour thing, but okay. If you're referring to my folks disappearing for about at least 8 hours, and me calling them up, no, 24 hours is not a myth. 8 hours could be enough. For those of you that don't know the song, they drank up the wine and they started packing. They left before the sun came up that day. Yeah, whoever can remember the name of the song first, drop it in the chat. That came out while the search for an elderly couple was still going on. One day they packed up, they went on a little trip, and they never made it to the other end. Well, the vehicle was finally found about a month later, something like that. The song had already come out. I remember growing up thinking this was really shitty parents that walked out on their kids. No, it was an elderly couple. Their car was finally found a month, 2 months, something like that, at the bottom of a cliff. I'm going to say something here that a lot of people are not going to like. I'm not sure how much of that was an accident. Right, there it is. I said it. I also know that if I ever accidentally drive off a cliff, at late 70s to early 90s of age, might not be an accident. Don't tell Papa Carey I said that. He does not want to hear it. Okay. Oops. Yikes. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Shit. Help if I clicked on the thing I'm supposed to be clicking on, wouldn't it? Okay. There we go. Okay. All right, guys. You cannot be tried by 12, judged by 12 if you're being carried by 6. Right? So that's a decision you have to make based on your circumstances as they really are. And that's all I can say. You can report somebody missing at any time. They are only going to start searching when they have been missing for 24 hours. That is law enforcement standards. Maritime standards is as little as 2 hours, but it's 2 hours overdue, right? If you're going to go on a trip, file a flight plan or trip plan or something with your somebody, with anybody really. And if you deviate from that trip plan, you know you're deviating from that trip plan, inform them immediately or as soon after as you can. True story. From when I was active duty, the first time we got underway to go look for a plane, there's a particular part of Lake Michigan that pilots like to fly over because it's a big fat shortcut. It's also prohibited airspace by FAA regulations because if you go down there, we can't fucking find you. We will never find you. Okay. Plane took off on a particular flight plan, never arrived. 12 hours later, 6 hours later, whatever, the plane still had not arrived. They called us up and said, you're getting underway to go up to such an area to search for a white plane. It's the middle of February, so we got at least, the small waves are at least 3 foot with breakers. So great. We've got 20-mile long waves with breakers at the top. We're looking for a white thing about 20 feet apart in the middle of this. And it's going to be pushed along with the waves. That's like the perfect camouflage. We were out there searching for hours. I know I stood a full watch, so that's at least 4 hours. Plus part of another watch on the way home. If you deviate from your plan, tell somebody who knows what your plan is, by the way. This guy had filed a flight plan with, I think, his daughter. I'm going to fly from Milwaukee to Petoskey or whatever the fuck the flight plan was. I don't know. I'm going to take off at about 0800. I'm going to land about 1100. Okay, great. Well, still hadn't called in. Did I mention that we had breakers on these waves? Yeah, so that means we had weather. We had inclement weather, right? The weather was bad enough that he diverted to another airstrip, I guess. He landed safely, well before he was supposed to arrive. He hears about the search for a missing aircraft, calls the FAA up and says, I think I'm the guy you're looking for. They checked, confirmed, yes, this is the guy that they were looking for. We turned around and went home. Right? No real blood, no real foul. Right? It's better to go look and be wrong than not look and be wrong. We wouldn't have gotten underway at all that day if he had just called and told somebody that the plan had changed. Speaking of, the plan had changed. Like my last week of active duty, last month of active duty in 2003, we are 2 seconds away from shutting down the ComCen because ComCen at Rio shuts down at midnight. The phone rings. Oh, fuck. The woman at the other end of the call says, my husband and my uncle went out this morning. They were supposed to be back hours ago. They went fishing at such and such a place. I don't remember, but I do remember thinking, oh, shit, there. Maybe it was Fisherman's Cut. This is midnight. The marinas are all closed. They typically close around 2200. They've been closed for 2 hours. We can't get through to anybody. We did manage to get through to one. They said they would check their parking lot. And they were looking for the vehicle that the two men used to take the boat to the river. They eventually called us back and said, there's nothing on our lot like that. Thank you very much. Have a good night. We spent the next 2 hours putting out, not pompons, but securities, which is a step down from, basically it's a step down from Mayday. Only you don't call Mayday if you're not the station in distress, but moving on. Anybody anywhere knows anything about this, let us know. Anybody anywhere knows anything about this, let us know. We're putting this out every 30 minutes. Well, no, it was closer to 2.5 hours later. The woman calls us back and tells us she's so sorry, terribly sorry. Her husband just came home. They've been at the bar drinking. Now, we did not bring up the subject of he was at the bar drinking and he just drove home. We didn't bring that up. We didn't ask. We let it go. I believe I took that call. My partner, I screwed up. I forgot to ask for the CF numbers. That's the registration number. That's basically your boat's equivalent of a license plate. I screwed up. I did that. I own it. It's my bad. Scott calls her back. Asks her for the CF numbers. I'm sitting at least 6 feet away, and I could hear as clear as if I had been holding the phone myself. I told you I called the Coast Guard. I could hear her screaming. I clearly heard the words, I told you I called the Coast Guard. I actually, clearly enough, heard CF. Ladies and gentlemen, bare minimum, if you change your plans, tell whoever it is you left your plans with that the plans had changed and what the new plans are. Because I goddamn guarantee you that guy was sleeping on the couch for a month. She could have called us up as little as 2 hours overdue, and we would have been telling her, ma'am, we don't have any report from any of the marinas that their vehicle is still there. Okay, Seventh Son. Thank you for coming. Tell your wife especially. I could hear her scream from 6 feet away. All right. Bo asked, should plain paint be regulated to be day glow colors? No. I didn't say anything of the like. Send the runk the bill. In the case of I told you I called the Coast Guard, maybe. We didn't get any vessels underway, so. Oh, that's right. We were about 5 seconds from getting a boat underway. The duty boat crew had been roused, so they were getting ready. Maybe. You know, each one of those phone calls cost about 2 cents, 20 cents, something like that. I bet you a few thousand of those every year adds up to a chunk of change that, by the way, was taxpayer money for a call that was completely avoidable. Maintain your communications, guys. All right. Shit. Maintain your comms as best as you can. Use whatever means presents. Actual case study. Coast Guard wasn't made of watch. Fell overboard. Rough weather, tripping hazard. He had his life vest on. Good. Apparently, his life vest had not been properly inspected in a while. Bad. But he took his belt off and used it as a signal mirror and was able to get the cutter's attention when they realized something was wrong. All right. Oh, okay, there it is. This one was my bad, guys. I'm sorry. Getting that up now. All right, this is going to be the last section of Daetslov as it currently exists. So, stop screen. Share a different screen. Window. Act 11 alpha. Well, you'll just have to trust me about that last little bit. Okay. Section 11, supplemental provisions. This is everything that didn't fit into something else that needed to be addressed here. The states may establish reasonable standards generally relative to the standards of the other states in the establishment of concealed carry permits. Break. No other acts or ordinances may be passed. Mandatory concealed carry permit requirements are hereby expressly forbidden. No regulations relative to location, security, or any other conditions of any lawful firearm or other weapon retailer may be passed. Sales, property, and other taxes may in no way exceed any other industry. Municipalities and counties may, at their discretion, waive property taxes in whole or in part for such retailers. States may, at their discretion, waive sales tax in whole or in part. No state, nor city, or county, nor federal government may impose any tax nor any other dues on any firearm nor related materials in excess of other products at the same price per unit, and munitions are hereby expressly forbidden to be taxed in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so this was a big, big, big fuck you to San Francisco. Specifically, San Francisco had regulations that in order to have a gun shop, you had to have security cameras inside. And that's when San Francisco's last gun shop closed up. They were gone that fast. I wanted to make sure that nobody would even have a bad nightmare about trying that shit again. So I added to it. I could see that some city somewhere or some county somewhere where they don't want guns there, that county voted overwhelmingly against passage, said, you know what, we're going to get all of the gun shops out of our county at least by putting ridiculous sales tax on them or property tax or something. States where it didn't pass would try the same thing. Okay, well, no, you can't do that anymore. And in fact, watch this, or you read this and you realize that we're encouraging this counties or states, cities, and counties to waive all related taxes. And you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to go one step further because I always do. I always take it too far. You cannot tax munitions in any way, shape, or form because that is something that you just would be doing nothing but making cash off of. It becomes a state cash crop. The answer was no. Took it all away. This is something you have to do to comply with the law. And if they make it impossible for gun stores to be in business, you can't comply with the law. Now what? Oh. All right. In the event of a challenge to a state's concealed carry permit requirements, the courts are to assume the state to be more likely in error unless overwhelming evidence to the contrary can be presented, and in either case, fees and other requirements may not exceed the ability of persons in any social status, tax bracket, or any other category to reasonably achieve in the course of a standard year. You also can't tax people or impose fees or anything else that makes it impossible to obey this law. I keep forgetting to include a clause that prevents states to be party to another state's concealed carry permits so as to raise those standards. The state of Orange has one standard, state of Green has a higher standard. Green cannot sue Orange for having insufficient standards. Orange could sue Green for having excessive standards. That's the way it's going to be working. May issue good cause or any other restrictions on the issuance of concealed carry permits that reduces the likelihood to prevent issuance without overwhelming public necessity to do so. Ordinances are hereby expressly forbade. Concealed carry permits may only be denied for due cause, and with such permits shall be processed within 14 days. Any such request not processed within said time frame shall be conditionally approved, and any permit not processed in 30 days shall be unconditionally approved. So that tells you it's been a while since I updated that section. It should say 7 days. And that was very poorly worded. I should go back and fix that. In short, all I did was say what the Supreme Court just said, which is may issue or good cause or anything like that is unconstitutional. Otherwise, not a whole lot there to see. The federal government may not impose new restrictions on any weapons or part thereof not already established as law, to wit, the registration of firearms as provided under this amendment. Any firearms may be required to be registered except those that are built by the original owner. Okay, what this says is no, in 40 years when lasers become far more practical, or 60 years or a million years, I don't give a shit, and become the standard. No, you can't regulate them in any new and creative ways. Also, home bills are King's X. You can't touch them one way or the other. Every home shall have at least one arm compatible with Department of Defense standardized infantry rifle munitions and magazine, and 2 such magazines with a minimum of 30 round capacity and 91 rounds. That is not actually whole cloth. There's a foundation for that based on AR-15 mag sizes. It originally said STANAG 4179 compatible, but I realized that the world might change and 4179 might someday go away. And since I wrote this, 4179's status as the king of the battlefield has 4172, excuse me, has kind of been challenged. It's been challenged very directly by the 6.8 Spear. Temporary transfers. Any person may temporarily transfer to any other person any weapon for up to 30 days with a signed and dated receipt attesting to the dated transfer. Said transfer may be revoked at any time by the rightful owner without explanation or cause. You can loan your gun to somebody so they can go down to the range and try it out. There you go. Actually, kind of a simple concept, but California doesn't get simple concepts. I think New York's got the same problem. Don't quote me on that one. It's a shame that New York Outcast isn't here. He could set me straight in a heartbeat. Bernie, we love you, but no. Nobody wants to go through that much pain again, especially me. Make sure everything's all right. Okay. As I just explained, there's a couple parts there that need to be updated. Oops, my bad. I want to re-emphasize something for the sake of somebody who's apparently not here. This is the proposed 27th amendment. This whole thing has been the amendments. Typically, an amendment is a couple lines. I think the longest one is a little over 100 words right now. Okay, great. That's 26, if I recall correctly. Why did I put the entire thing in one act? Typically, it's a few lines plus another enabling act. Well, first of all, because that enabling act could be amended at any time by anyone for any reason. Okay, so flag and play. No, it would actually have to go through Congress and all of that. Great, okay, fine. But it could be. I wanted to set it right away. Okay, no, fuck you. You don't get to go make up new fanciful terms like fully semi-automatic and assault machine gun and shoulder thing that goes up. Oh my God. Not gonna lie, guys, shoulder thing that goes up was up. I don't know what the hell she was thinking. Tucker was right to call her out on that. What is a shoulder? What is a barrel shroud, and why should we ban it? Hey, Foss. Okay, well, don't overpay because they don't take the money. Okay. Where was I? You don't get to make up new fucking terms and then just rewrite the Enabling Act. Set it right now. Set one standard. And set one that could actually be universal and supported in 40 years. So put this very bluntly. This all goes back to NFA and my problems with that. NFA was written in the 1920s based on what they understood in the 1920s, which was nothing. They understood nothing back then. And because everybody kept building on this bad foundation, now we got a house that's actually trying to collapse. And somebody comes along and props it up every fucking 2 years. All right. And yes, both sides kind of do it. I have tried to get past that kind of mentality. Back when I was a gun control supporter, I would hear people talking about assault weapons ban and thinking, wait a minute, that's not an assault weapon. That's a semi-auto. What are you talking about? And keeping my mouth shut because that 10-year clause made me willing to at least consider try this and see what happens. And in 10 years, we'll know. We love you, Susan. Okay. Well, it didn't work. And as that one was coming down, I was already hearing people rewriting words like assault weapon, rewriting the definition of assault weapon. It would be another 12 years before I found out who rewrote the definition of assault weapon. That would be Josh Sugarman. All on his own, apparently. Well, no, not quite. He took a real-ish thing. People taking advertisements out for AR-15s that build them as assault-style weapons. Okay. But that style is a real thing. All right. And just taking the word style out. And now all y'all are fucking confused as shit because he managed to fool you. Nope. Yeah, we're done. I'm done hearing lies. I'm done hearing bullshit. And I'm done here being one of the ones defending it. Okay. Aboa, I have never heard of an assault pry bar or bats. Is that? Yeah, I've never heard of an assault bat or golf club. Right? An assault weapon and basically everything else. No, actually, just everything else are two very, very different things. And you can't do. I guess you could make an assault golf club, build a machine that makes it swing automatically until you release the button that makes it swing. You know what? I can't. My brain cannot go there. So, if you can come up with an assault golf club, let me know. That'd be one hell of a mem, wouldn't it? By the way, a baseball bat with a nail in it, I'm just saying, is not an assault anything. It's a, oh my God, that would be a mace. Yeah, that would be a mace. And it's not banned under Daetslov. It's not even mentioned. Holy shit. Maybe I should. Well, no. There was a reason I didn't do that. That's right. It's because I can't conceivably list everything. What's the difference between a spear and a pike? What's the difference between a knife and a sword? What's the difference between a blackjack and a club? I could never hope to do it. What's the difference between a mace and a club? Well, mace is a club with a pointy thing sticking out of it. Well, you could do that. But then you'd have 50 pages of definitions. The difference between a spear and a polearm, a spear and a pike, a spear and a halberd. I can't do that. I don't have time for that. Matter of fact, now that I think about it, when I just started that little bit of the project, I did start looking into it and realizing that spears alone had something like 15 different major varieties. They had hundreds of sub-varieties up to and including the Nagato, which is basically a heavy sword on a spear. You use it like a sword, has a long blade like a sword. But the shaft is as long as a man is tall. And then you use it standing in the saddle. So some jackass someday will say, well, no, you're not supposed to use this one while standing in a saddle. You're supposed to use it while sitting in a saddle. I know. Just no, I can't go there. Okay. Boa, I'm going to send you an email just after the stream. I think we have a communications breakdown, and I don't want to bore everybody, including myself, to death with this one. But assault weapon has one definition. Literally everything else, including machine guns, has a different definition. I got to remember to do that. We're at minute 36 now. Okay. Bernie says his guns fear boat rides. My guns feared my ex-wife's family. And rightfully so, as it turned out. My Smith & Wesson 4006, which is actually the gun I liked the best, is sitting at the bottom of Polk County landfill. And I have no idea when it got there. I'm actually vaguely wondering if they got some sort of bomb detection dogs. Could they sniff through that and see if they could find it? Maybe. But then again, if they did, the poor dog would be alerting every 2 seconds because there's got to be a million guns at the bottom of that landfill. We love you, Susan. Okay. Good. We're up to speed. It says I only got 2 people watching right now, and that's probably true enough. But, well, no, it can't be true. It's got to be at least one more than that because I'm watching it in another tab. But moving right along. Close enough. I know people think I'm crazy, and actually they're right. I'm a disturbed sociopath. I know it. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. It means I've taken a look. It means I was mentally in a position to be able to take a new, fresh look at everything and say, wait a second, does this make sense? Does that make sense? Does something else make sense? And to see the thing, whatever the thing was, from a unfortunately new perspective, or not one I would really wish on anybody. But I goddamn guarantee you, when 9017 comes, all of you all are going to end up being just as disturbed a sociopath as I am, or worse, because you will know that there is really a threat out there. And then it'll look like that scene from Dawn of the Dead, 2003. Yeah, the 2003 version of Dawn of the Dead. All right, it's going to be Ving Rhames shoving a shotgun in your face, saying "Say something," and you say, "Please," thinking that's it. Because you don't know what the fuck is going on either. They only control TikTok there. Bernie, you're fine. There we go. All right. We've had many 9017s off and on over the course of the last couple of years. It didn't start in 2020. It did not start in 2020. I'm looking back over the various events and saying, wait a second. No, that does kind of fit. We love you, Susan. Mass shootings are a thing. Whether they were religiously or ideologically driven. The fact of the matter is, when 917 starts, the people who are doing it are going to look just like you. You're not going to know the difference. Matter of fact, they're going to do everything they can to look as normal as possible, which means I probably don't count. Look at this. Have you seen anything like this in real life? Be honest. They're going to do everything they can to just blend in as best as they can. They're probably going to wear some degree of body armor in the hopes that it will let them continue their mission, even if they do run into somebody like Bernie or Foss. God, don't go to Foss's place. You won't make it to the door, I'm pretty sure. Sure as shit won't make it out the door. If you make it in, you're going to get one shot and then you're going to get blown the fuck off the face of the earth, and they will have to use DNA to identify your body. Hey, Swiss. Good morning. Are you over your cold? Where was I? I'm sorry, guys. I got distracted. 9017 is my actual sincere belief of a coordinated mass shooting terrorist attack. Whether it's just in the United States, just in the continental United States, just certain states in the United States, or whether it is a global phenomenon, or at least intercontinental phenomenon, it is going to happen. And until then, there are going to be tests, and people are going to get it into their head that they're going to do it on their own. And. And to be perfectly blunt here, besides Sandy Hook being kind of a variation of that same theme, he went there with the intention of killing kids, period. Uvalde, he went to that particular classroom with the intention of killing his own classmates who weren't there. It has come to my attention from somebody I trust, Tansy from Mike the Cop's channel. It's Mike's co-host. And I think Tansy has his own channel, and I can't find it. But anyway, the classroom that he went to was the one that he had been in when he was a student at that school. That's why he went there. He went there with the intention of killing his classmates. Okay. Over things that had happened while he was there. Oh. Oh, sorry, Swiss. Okay. I'm sorry, and I'm confused. I'll email you later. Okay. Where was I? Sandy Hook, he picked that classroom because his mother had been a substitute assistant instructor at that classroom, and he harbored some sort of grudge against mom that led him to pick that classroom. I didn't say his brain worked. Sandy Hook was clear-headed enough that he was competent to stand trial. I didn't say he wasn't crazy. It's entirely probable that he was insane, and he should have been in a hospital, a locked hospital. I got put into the Portland VA hospital for a couple of weeks because they thought I was going to kill myself. That was Papa Carey, my counselor at the time, and the county vet rep. And it was Dad that came out and said, either you drive up there and check yourself in, or I'm calling Multnomah County Sheriff's and having them pick you up. Oh, okay. So I drove up there on my own. I checked myself in, and the VA hospital figured out real quick, this guy's not suicidal, but you're right, he's not okay. He's got some issues. To be perfectly blunt, I really shouldn't be talking about this the way I am, because it involves other people who aren't in a position to defend themselves. But the counselor at the VA said that I should quit my job, go back to Papa Carey's, put my life back together one piece at a time, and start over again. And maybe if I had followed her advice, my life would be back together again now. I don't know. She also said that I probably should have gone to Papa Carey's when this started, and not 3 months later when I finally checked myself in. It is what it is. Nobody misses me, Swiss. Come on. Fucking asshole. Hell, I don't even miss me. I gotta look at that thing in the mirror every morning. Well, let's change the subject, please, because apparently I did something I should not have. Where was I? Where was I, for fuck's sake? Sandy Hook should have been in a hospital, a locked hospital, a double locked hospital, to be perfectly blunt. The difference between where he was and a prison cell might have been semantic. He was clearly out of control. In the era of the cavemen, the entire cave would have probably beat him to death years earlier. They didn't, because we are more sophisticated than that today. Well, okay, fuck you. Bo, I'll get to you in a second. I promise. He got it in his head that he was going to do a mini 9017. He's not the last, probably not the first. And to be perfectly blunt, I built 9017 around events like his, not the other way around. Bo wants to know, will the shooters look just like you? Well, no, not exactly. They're not all going to look like white males in their 40s. Some of them are going to be Hispanic females in their teens. Some of them are going to be black males in their 30s. Some of them are going to be Asian females in their 40s. I just gave a pretty good description of fixed bayonets. For those of you that have actually talked to her, you know that sounds about right. They're going to look like anyone you see walking down the street. You won't know. You won't have any way to know until it's far too late. Okay, I want to bring this up. New SSRIs, not the cure we thought they were. Why am I not shocked? Because for the same reason that I hate Ritalin. When I was in junior and high school, I'm in junior high school, excuse me. I was on the absolute max dosage for an adult twice. That's a 200-pound adult male. At like 125 pound, I think it was, 14-year-old. Yes, they work great when they're being used the way they're supposed to be. A 200-pound adult male on 100 fucking milligrams a day with kind of ADD that they thought I had, this would have, boom, not even a problem. I would have been so focused and so capable, everything else on earth. They were pumping it into me when I should never have been on it to begin with. It was complete and total disaster. And it made everything worse because methamphetamines make Tourette's worse. Oh, yeah. About that. Half of my Tourette's now is probably tied up to me being on Ritalin, especially as much as I was, as long as I was, at the age I was. And now we're giving mind-altering substance 1 to person with problem 2, not realizing it's making it worse. They had problem 1, would have made it better. Or it could have made it better, at least. At the very least, we would have known whether or not to put this guy in a hospital for the rest of his life. But they were doing it something else. All right. I want to highlight this one. I said show it. The answer is I don't know. The answer is I know goddamn well that we're abusing these drugs in ways that is making every single problem worse. Somebody I went to grade school with overdosed on, was it meth? He died, by the way. I believe it was meth. And after he died, it came out that he was on Ritalin at the same time I was. He didn't need Ritalin. He's fucking brilliant. All right? He would have been a member of Mensa, period. Don't even argue with me. All right? He would have been a member of Mensa if he'd made it that far. Instead, his brain got rewired with drugs that were never appropriate to him. And his problem was he was so busy chasing girls around the playground that everybody thought he was hyperactive, attention deficit, something or other. And looking back just now, without realizing I should have years ago, he had a little bit of Brent in him, if you know what I mean. He liked his girls. He liked girls who like girls. I've been there. I've done this. She's right. Even when they mean well, they do bad. Okay. Gonna move on. All right. 9017 is coming. It might be a lot of little ones, like it seems to be playing out. It might be one big one, like I still believe is inevitable. But it is still coming. Summer of Love 2020 was kind of a mini 9017. Uvalde and Pulse nightclub, although Pulse nightclub was more pushed by homophobic hate than purely ideological or religious hate. It's still coming, and it's going to continue to come if this mini version continues on as it is. Shit. There was something else I wanted to point out. Fuck. I even had that damn thing open. What the hell happened? Stop. Oh, because and do not think that guns are the only weapon. Stop that. Share screen tab. I don't care. Thank you. I don't know. Okay. Actually, this is important. Wildfire alert. Cal Fire says McKinney Fire in Siskiyou County is now more than 57,000 acres. I actually called Papa Carey up when I heard about this. Monday? Not Monday. Tuesday. You know, is this getting anywhere near Lake House? No, we're fine. Okay. Now here's the headline. Cal Fire law enforcement arrests woman suspected of igniting multiple fires. Actually, I've met the author. She seems like a nice girl. This was apparently written yesterday. Red Bluff, California. I kind of know Red Bluff a little bit. Cal Fire law enforcement officers arrested a Tehama County woman last Wednesday in connection with 4 fires in Tehama County. Blank was arrested on 4 counts of arson to a structure or wildland and 2 counts of vandalism. She was transported to the Tehama County Jail, where she is being held in lieu of over $500,000 bail. Oh, I thought this was a bigger article than that. I started preaching about fire as a weapon for 917 actually just before the start of summer last year, because Laurel was talking about there being this huge drought throughout the Midwest, and it clicked. Holy shit. It would be so easy to set a wildfire and set the entire Midwest on fire. And in a single day, if you got a dedicated enough team, you could have that fire stretching from Arizona to the outskirts of Chicago. And it would look like natural spread. Oh, well, it would look like natural spread to those of us that don't know how fire spreads. Meth would have helped. Oop, stop that. Share screen. Right. 917 is coming. It's the macro 917s have happened. Uvalde, Pulse nightclub. Many 917s have happened. Inland Regional Center. That was a mini 917, guys. The burning of Greenville, California, Paradise, California. The campfire. I'm sorry, the campfire was Paradise, California. The car, no, not the car fire. The car fire was actually a legitimate accident. Last summer? No, summer 2020s wildfires up in Oregon and Washington State. It's a shame that Voss had to skip out. Yeah. It's going on just a lot slower than I thought. Keep calm. Get your get home bag ready. Get your bug out kit ready. And mandatory carry on.